Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. Stand up for your country. We're glad you're with us. Big night, State of the Union address coming up. Putin running wild in Ukraine. Russia's getting more aggressive. They blew up the Kyiv TV tower. They're attacking and killing civilians. And as I said yesterday, this is very important for you to understand, Putin's never coming back from this. He's done now. He's a villain forever in the world's eyes. So China's not going to help him, not even nutty North Korea or Iran. Nobody's going to help Putin. He's isolated. He's destroying his own country as well as Ukraine. And it is over for Putin. The problem is it was over for Hitler in 1943. And he hung on for 2 years. So Putin will hang on for a while. And it makes him very dangerous, because he's got to know things are not going well in the world for him, because nobody is on his side. Nobody. Now, there are a few countries sitting it out, India, China, that kind of thing, but nobody's helping them. So anyway, the talking points memo this evening is a little Ukraine, but a lot of the State of the Union. And I'm first going to give you the State of the Union for America from the folks in the form of recent polling. So Gallup just out. This is a poll about the direction of America. It is 1,008 adults, Republican 26, Democrat 29, Independent 42. The question, in general, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with the way things are going in the United States at this time? Satisfied 21%, dissatisfied 78%, no opinion 1%. That is a colossally bad number for Joe Biden and his administration. I've never seen a number that bad, ever. So he has lost his own party, Biden has, in this. And by party, they broke it down. Democrats satisfied 35%. That's it. And those are the loons, the far left loons, okay? Republicans satisfied 2%, no 1%, okay? Independents satisfied 21%, dissatisfied 79%. As you know, independents decide elections. So as I said, I have never seen numbers this bad about the State of the Union in my 46 years of doing this, okay? So Biden is in serious, serious trouble. The second question in the Gallup poll, how would you rate economic conditions in the country today? 21% say excellent or good, 79% fair or poor. And that is it for the midterms, right there. So it's not going to be Putin, Ukraine, not even the border. It's going to be economics all the way in November. And the final question, do you think economic conditions in country as a whole are getting better or worse? Getting better, 26, getting worse, 70. So Biden, he's really up against it tonight. I mean, he could have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John write this speech this evening, and they couldn't spin it his way. All right? There's nobody on earth who could spin it his way. The country's state is terrible. And he's the reason. And here's the oversimplification, but it's true. Joe Biden threw in with the far left the minute he took office. And that has crippled the United States of America. That far left progressive insanity has crippled us. And it's enriched Putin. And you all know about the drilling and cutbacks of American fossil fuels and Putin, selling oil to anybody and coal to anybody. And I don't think he's going to say it tonight, but hey, Joe, you can't keep buying Russian oil. You can't keep doing it. 7% of all U.S. oil comes from Russia. Now, you got to stop that. Buy it from OPEC if you have to. We shouldn't have to buy any, of course. Oh, it's so bad. So bad. All right, so you got to figure maybe one or two people in the White House know how bad it is. I mean, these people live in a bubble. They live in a land of denial. Yes, that's true. But when crafting a speech, and I think it'll be a short speech, for Biden. They don't want him to go. The average, I think the average is about an hour. You know, there's applause. There's not going to be a lot of applause tonight for Biden. A little, but you're not going to have standing ovations and all of that, I don't think. It would be a cartoon if you do. Pelosi will try. She'll try to rally, but man. So he's going to say that he's leading the world and NATO against Putin. That's going to be the lead in the speech tonight. I haven't seen it, by the way. This is all speculation, but educated speculation. I'm not guessing, and I could be wrong. So you're going to open up with, hey, Putin's awful. This is a war crime, and it is. This is horrible. And I, Joe Biden, am leading the world in NATO. And here's what we're doing. He's going to run them down. Okay? And that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. So what Biden has done since Putin has gone into Ukraine, I don't think he screwed up. It's before that he screwed up, allowing and emboldening Putin to make his move. All right, so that's how it's going to open. And then he's going to say, and this is going to, draw my ire and the ire of any fair-minded analyst, he's going to say the American economy is booming. It's because of me, Joe Biden. So he does this all the time, and he uses April 2020 baseline for his economic analysis, and that's when the country shut down because of COVID, and everybody was out of work. He'll take that employment number there, which is totally artificial, okay, and then he'll add on how many jobs have come back or added since then, and he'll come up with historical job, we're the best, nobody's ever done this, but it's a ruse. If you watch me, it's a ruse. If you watch the networks, you don't know it's a ruse because they'll never tell you the truth. All right, so that's pretty much what he's going to do. And then he'll threaten Putin. He may blame Trump somehow for the economy and Putin, maybe. It would be foolish if he does, but I don't know if they can resist. They're certainly not going to blame Obama for Putin when Obama allowed Putin to take part of Ukraine without any effective sanctions. That was the Crimea 8 years ago. We'll get to that in a little while. And Biden was vice president. See, I don't think he's going to mention that. I don't think he's going to mention his war on fossil fuels, closing down Keystone Pipeline, slapping regulations every time you turn around, impeding fracking. He's not going to mention that. I don't even think he's going to mention global warming. I don't think so, because John Kerry got smacked so hard for doing that a couple of days ago. But he may. It would be a huge mistake if he does, because he'll be derided all over the country if Biden brings up global warming now. So I don't think he will. That's the highlights of the thing. I'll just quickly review. He's the leader of the attack against Putin. The economy is the best it's ever been. He's not going to mention, he has to mention inflation a little bit, but we're going to bring it down. We're going to, yeah. But he's not going to get specific because he doesn't know how to bring it down. If he knew how to bring it down, he would have already done it. He doesn't know. Okay, so let me give you some stats here, and then we're going to get to our guest, who I'm looking forward to talking to tonight. The national average for gas, gallon of gas, is $3.62, up 33% in a year. Okay, 8% increase over last week, 26% over last month, 90% a gallon over last year. These are staggering. Last year, the average at this time was $2.72 a gallon. Now, again, it's $3.62. All right, oil went through the roof again today, way over $100 a barrel. So, gas at the pump's going up. Easy $4, might go to $5 by 4th of July. Now, this is going to cause a rebellion in this country because people just don't have that money. Most people don't have it, but they got to put gas in their car. Spending for Biden, 13 months, $3.1 trillion government spent. That has ignited inflation. You spend that much money, you print that much money, the dollar is going to be worth less. That's what inflation is. Your dollar declines in value. Okay? And the federal debt has grown $2 trillion since Biden took office. Now, Trump was a massive spender. Okay, but Biden is more massive. You'll never hear those numbers from Biden tonight. So anyway, that is my analysis of the upcoming State of the Union. So if you go to thefirsttv.com, you can see me tonight after the State of the Union with analysis. Thefirsttv.com. Are you looking for your next investment? Bill O'Reilly here. There are 8 reasons to look at the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund. Stable monthly cash flow payouts with double-digit targeted bonus returns. They strategically develop in lower-risk, high-demand neighborhoods. Prime new construction is short on supply and high on demand. Diversification is safety from stock market risk. They have a short and long-term strategy for returns today and down the road. Specifically designed pandemic-hardened buildings. They are 15-year industry leaders with a proven track record. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines or want to diversify, please start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Let's bring in Doug Saylor. He's a friend of mine and an honest Democrat political strategist. He's the author of the book, America, Unite or Die, How to Save Our Democracy, which needs saving. And he joins us from New York City. All right, so did I make any mistakes setting this thing up?
Bill, I wish I could say as a Democrat that I have a totally different view, but I think you're right on all accounts. I think what Biden should do, and he won't do, is to say this is a moment where we need bipartisanship internationally, domestically, or energy independence, holding the line on spending, reducing the debt and the deficit in a way that would be reminiscent of what we tried and successfully did with Bill Clinton in the mid-90s. But the chance of that happening, I think, is less than zero. And the fact that Joe Biden cannot govern with America first, it's the far left first, to me is tragic, bad for him and bad for America.
If you were writing the speech tonight, Doug, what would you lead with?
The need for democracies, both abroad and our Democrats and Republicans, to pull together in a moment of crisis to stand up for American values, both here and at home, with a new and different set of policies that put American interests and the interests of democratic nations first and foremost, emphasizing, as I said, energy independence, fiscal conservatism, and the greater good, not partisan advantage.
But if he does say, well, I'm going to start drilling again and take the Keystone Pipeline ban off, then he loses the far left, the climate change warriors, correct?
He loses them, but at a time like this, Bill, I think you have to do what's right for the country rather than what's right for Bernie Sanders and AOC. And I would rather try to work with the Republicans and extend an olive branch to Mitch McConnell and his colleagues rather than hopelessly try to placate people whose interests are frankly inimical to those of, I think, the greater good for America.
Do you think Biden is going to address Putin's nuke threat tonight? Because there are a lot of people rattled by that. And just today, Putin gave another order for his nuke people to do something. I don't even know what it is. But people are scared now. Do you think Biden's going to address the nuke thing?
I don't think he will. The Europeans have made it clear they haven't raised their threat assessment. I don't think that the President of the United States needs on TV tonight to do that. I think rather to affirm our role in the world and what we're doing with the Europeans to free Ukraine and to protect NATO is more than enough. under the circumstances. I think ratcheting up tensions is contrary to our interests. It's how we ended the Cuban Missile Crisis successfully in 1962, and what circumstances, in my judgment, call for today.
Based on your watching Biden for 13 months, excuse me, do you think he has the capacity to understand what the Gallup poll just showed? That these numbers are the lowest numbers I've ever seen in my lifetime. Do you think he has processed that?
I don't know what he's processed. I don't know what the people around him, most of whom I know and have worked with, can process. But I know this. When I worked for Bill Clinton, he processed the 94 defeat and was able to do a repositioning that brought him political and electoral and governmental success.
Yeah, but much
confidence.
younger man, and that was the midterms. Now we're
Right.
dealing with, a man who seems to be befuddled.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't figure out what the people like Klain and Rice and even his own wife are telling him. But certainly when a Gallup poll rolls in and says the people of the United States think your administration is a disaster, certainly somebody has got to, I don't know whether he sees that or like Trump watched cable news all day, all night. Everything said Trump saw. Now, I know Biden doesn't do that. I know that he doesn't see much. But if they're not even going to tell him about a Gallup poll on the day of the State of the Union address that says it's a disaster, then we really don't have a commander-in-chief anymore.
I don't think they're going to tell him, but even more, they're not going to do what any rational presidential leadership would, Bill, which is to do a mid-course correction.
Yeah,
yes, it's before the midterms, but the handwriting is on the wall. And bottom line, I believe that once we get through this crisis, I believe that he needs to think long and hard about a change in leadership at the top, both of his domestic staff and his foreign policy staff.
All right, but that would take somebody like Bill Clinton, who was on the case and able to assess what's happening. I don't think Biden can assess. And number two, I don't think he has any solutions to these problems. I mean, he doesn't know what to do about inflation. As I said, if he knew what to do, he would have already implemented some stuff. I mean, you're looking at now a catastrophe among working Americans, spending not only more on gasoline, but on food, on clothing, on cars, on every single thing. Do you think, Doug, do you think Biden and the Democratic Party have any solution to that today?
Not only do I not think they have a solution, as you cite the Gallup poll and other polls, the American people themselves don't think the Democrats
because you would have said it already. You would have been out there saying, well, we're doing X, Y, and Z, and this is how we're going to get it under control. It's almost like the border. No matter how many people come across, no matter how many drugs are smuggled in, Biden sits there and goes, well, Kamala Harris is going to assess it, and everybody's going to what? Do something.
That's an easy one. Finish building the wall.
Yeah, I know it's easy, but it's not easy for him.
No,
because
I understand.
Obviously he hasn't said a word in 13 months.
I understand. There should be pushing for grand compromises on immigration, Bill, and he's not doing it.
All right, Doug, we really appreciate your point of view. The book again is America, Unite or Die. Well worth your time. Supply chain issues have been a catalyst in bringing high-tech manufacturing back to the USA. My tech expert and founder of Brownstone Research calls it the Great Recalibration, and he discusses it in his newsletter, Near Future Report. For the past 35 years, he has helped his subscribers safely navigate volatile times, and he also answers your most pressing questions, like how to protect your money from inflation, what are the implications of a new digital currency, and the Great Reset. What will the Fed do with interest rates? And what is expected from the stock market in 2022? Brownstone Research has been at the forefront of nearly every major market move for the past 35 years. Let Jeff Brown help you by signing up for his newsletter today at a 75% discount. It's a 12-month subscription for only $49. Please go to jeffbrowntech.com. 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 So here's the final thought of the day. I don't talk a lot about Fox News because I worked there for more than 20 years, and I had a great experience there until the end. And, you know, it happens in life. And I'm not the type of guy that carries around a grudge like that. Okay, so Fox remains the #1 rated cable news network by far. And I believe it's part of it, most of it, is because we set the template for 20 years when we were there. Totally different operation now. Totally different. So one thing that hasn't changed over there is Jennifer Griffin, who is a spectacular Pentagon reporter. And Jennifer got a little upset over the weekend. Go.
And before we get started, I just heard your last guess, and I feel like I need to correct some of the things that Colonel Doug Macgregor just said because, and I'm not sure 10 minutes is enough time to do so because there were so many distortions in what he just said and talking about the West and NATO vilifying Putin and sounding like an apologist for Putin and talking about how he thinks he knows how far Putin wants to go. I don't think anyone that I've spoken to here at the Pentagon or elsewhere in Western intelligence believes they know how far Putin wants to go.
Well, kudos to Jennifer. Now, why I'm running that clip is not only to show you how gutsy she is, all right, is that it used to be that propagandists would be slapped down hard, and now they're not just on Fox, but on every television news program. I mean, I've told you this time and time and time again. I turn on that set. It doesn't matter whether it's the network morning shows, the late night comedians, the cable news across the board, 2 left, 1 right. Propaganda is just spit out there, and the people running the shows are just sitting there going like this. You can't do that. That's a disservice to the American people. You've got to know enough about the subject that you are involved with as an anchor or a host, that if somebody says something that's propagandistic, you challenge. And that is what Jennifer Griffin was doing. She listened to the interview because it's a bunch of garbage. But why was it allowed to go out in the first place? That never happened on the O'Reilly Factor, ever. I mean, just Google me and any name, throw a name in there and you'll see it. I never allowed that. Difference of opinion? Fine. Propaganda? Never. Google O'Reilly, Barney, Frank. Just watch that. I had to send a message to former Congressman Frank and everybody who supported him when he lied on my program right in your face. And I did. You'd never see that today. Ever. Because, number one, the hosts and the anchors are too afraid to do that because the corporations don't back them. Boom. You create controversy, you're gone. Okay? There are a few who don't fit in there, a few who get strong ratings who say what they want, but a very few. And the second is, you got to know what you're doing. You got to research. I mean, even on the No Spin News, this broadcast, my people, and they're good, okay? They spend most of the day giving me research, backing up. And if I don't think it's credible, I throw it out. That's gone. Which is why are you guys wasting your time watching this stuff? You know, I'm looking out for you. I get letters every day, the craziest conspiracy stuff. Well, I heard that. And I'm going, what? It's everywhere. It's cheap and easy. It makes money. And that's the truth. But not Jennifer Griffin. You see her? She will back up what she says with facts. Thanks for watching No Spin News and listening to us on the radio. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's noticed everything is getting more expensive. We are in the biggest economic crisis since 2008, with a government that's printing trillions of dollars. Consumer prices at the highest we've seen in 30 years. Inflation certainly here. And if the government continues its out of control printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world's reserve currency. While paper money will eventually have a shrinkage in value, there are real tangible things that will always maintain value. So how do you protect your money, your retirement, your savings? American Hartford Gold can show you how to hedge your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. Plus, tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. So please don't wait. Call them now, 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.